Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the Beast Deities Jade Rabbit, aka Vegeta, because it's unlicensed, and so they have to do this. For those of you who aren't familiar, they make things like this, and then you get the other parts in the box, but in a separate container, that sort of thing. It helps them to avoid getting shut down, I guess. Though it doesn't look like anybody gets shut down for anything ever anymore unless you're messing with Nintendo, so I don't know what's going on with that. But this is the Jade Rabbit. This is the number 15 one, but I also have 13 and 14 I'll be showing you in this video also. They're just going to be side ones because it's basically the same thing, but that's what it is. I want to do a question of the day. Do you also think that looks pretty cool, even though it looks nothing like what you're actually getting? Like, that's kind of cool. I'm not into furries and that kind of stuff, but that's kind of a cool little spacesuit thing going on, and maybe he's got like a Star Fox thing going. I don't know. Anyway, it's Vegeta, so let's go ahead and get him off the stand and take a closer look. Alright, so before we look at the figure, I do want to show you my package. Well, actually, I'm showing you my brother's package. I don't collect these, but he collects a lot of them, and so he gave me these to review. He let me borrow them to review. So that's why. You know, a lot of people, when I reviewed that Broly, they're like, oh, you just hate this stuff. You're such a hater. It's like, no, Broly just had a lot of problems for as cool as he was. Like, it's a review. That's what this is about. If you just want me to gush over something, you're in the wrong place. I'm going to show you what it is. And Broly had a lot of good stuff too, but he had some problems, and if you don't want to admit that, well, that's your prerogative. But this is Bunny number 1, or number 15, and they come in this cool little plastic box, like it's an actual plastic container, not just a blister. And there's the bunny head. They don't even bother painting them, because nobody wants it, but I still think the bunny thing's kind of cool. Anyway, that's the packaging. That's what it looks like. You wouldn't want this other than to hold your figure because it has that on the front. Alright, so this is, I'll show you these, I guess, real quick, just so that you have an idea. Here's 13. See if I can read. So the 13 is blue, slightly different suit, and like it matters. And here is 14. That's the Super Saiyan bunny, I guess. Yes, okay, we will look at those in a little bit. But for now, we're just going to talk about this guy. This is Beast Deities. It's not an actual knockoff, which, as you guys know, this is more of a gray area. I mean, it's not gray, technically speaking, but at least it's an all-new figure. They're sculpting this. They're making this. It's not just a knockoff or a bootleg. So I'm much more okay with this than the other things, and these actually warrant a review because it's not just a copied mold with different paint on it. So this is a much nicer thing, and I have reviewed lots of third-party figures and given them glowing reviews. He stands just about 5 1/8 inches tall to the top of where his head would be, about 6 1/4, including his hair, and that's going to be about, let's say, I don't know, 13.2 maybe, and then 16, and give or take. And here he is up against Darwin. So he's still in scale with like all your figure arts. That's the point, obviously. But I have to say, I guess I have to say two things. To touch on the thing about, oh, I just hate the third party and bootleg stuff. It's like, I don't like bad figures ever. When Bandai makes bad figures, I call them out. I've been doing it for years. And this is a better looking Vegeta than every Vegeta they've released. For sure, without a doubt. I have no problem saying that. It is a third-party thing, so you have to decide if you're okay with that or not, and I know most of you are going to say, yeah, I'm okay, I don't care. That's your prerogative, but it's my job as a reviewer to lay out everything, and it is third-party, so it's unlicensed. That's why it's a bunny. But I have to tell you, I love the color scheme, and I love the paint job, and for everybody who says, oh, paints don't matter, figures look good without paint, I don't see how you can think that, and if you do, fine, but, oh man, it looks so much better than any of the other Vegetas that have come out. I love the darker shading on the blue. The shading around the gray makes it look nice. They didn't even paint the lines on the armor, like on the tan parts, but the shading carries it. It carries it so hard. The gray around here, and then the gray on the white. It makes it look so much nicer. The blue, so much nicer. Everything looks so much nicer. Now for the hair, that's a personal preference. I happen to like the platinum blonde, and I know you're going to say it's not accurate to most of the source material, and that's fine, and it's not, but it still looks good to me, so I like it. But you have some other options if you like those. I'll show you those probably toward the end. But yeah, new sculpt, so they have their own style of faces. Some people like the faces, some don't. They're technically good. They're really well sculpted and painted, so that's a good thing. You know, some people don't like, and myself included, I don't like the narrowness and the length of the eyes. They go too far in, and they're just a little bit too swoopy for me. Most of the time, they don't look like that in the anime, but it's not like it's a big deal, obviously, and some of the faces just look friggin' awesome, so, you know, that's a personal thing. You can decide what you feel about that, but it's a good-looking figure. The sculpt is also really nice. He actually has some musculature that looks like muscles. It's a way less blocky-looking figure than a lot of the Bandai offerings. You know, sometimes Bandai gets the muscles right, but oftentimes they don't. But yeah, this Vegeta looks like a little tank, like he's getting ready to do Vegeta stuff, and I like that. So yeah, it looks really good. The one downside I have is, and I tried to fix this, is it doesn't peg in any better, is you do get some fit and finish issues with these third-party figures, and I tried to say that in the Broly one, and they're like, yeah, but the good figure, the real figures, the licensed ones have problems too. Yes, so most of the time they don't. You're going to have more mold lines and flashing on a third-party figure like this than you will on an official figure, but this is another kind of thing where you rarely see that with a licensed figure, and maybe yours doesn't do it, this one does it. I took the faceplate off, I took the hair apart, I did everything. It doesn't stay together. You can decide if that's a big deal for you or not. It wouldn't be for me, because I actually like the fact that the hair is a separate piece from the face rather than a painted piece. You don't have to worry about any paint bleed or anything like that, so I like that. But okay, it's also worth noting before we do an aesthetic rating, my brother said they were $65 when he bought them. I think they're mostly sold out everywhere now, so I'm not sure if you can find them for that price, but for $65, that's easily justifiable for even a third-party figure without licensing fees and that kind of stuff. $65 is getting you a pretty good spread of stuff in the box, so you decide how you feel about that ethically, but just on face value, it seems like a very good deal to me. Okay, so aesthetically speaking, I'm going to give this guy a 9 out of 10. Looks awesome. Love the saturation, love the shading. The sculpt is really nice. I even think the way they did the hips looks pretty darn good. They did some sculpt work on that inner piece that you don't normally see. That's good. I like a lot about this figure. Maybe the nose is off a little bit. I knew something was getting me. I think his nose is maybe just a touch small, especially with the hair sticking out extra. It looks kind of funny. And the face is kind of pinched. Yeah, there's some issues, but I don't think most people are even going to see that, so that's fine. Now, as far as accessories go, you get 3 different hair pieces, which is nice. Let's see, what are they? You get 2 different Saiyan one, just regular Saiyan hairs, it looks like, and then one swoopy one. Yeah, the swoopy one's pretty cool. What's the difference between the other 2? Just different. So like Saiyan 1 and Saiyan 2 maybe. That's what it looks like to me, but I don't know. I haven't studied their hairs that intensely, especially on Vegeta. So you get 3 hairs though, that's pretty cool. You get a whole bunch of face plates, and like I said, some of them are freaking great. Even if you don't like the particular styling, like it's not even noticeable there. So that's awesome. You get a bunch of hands, that's really cool. You do get an effect part. The one that comes with this guy is clear. And so, I don't want to open this stuff because, like I said, it's not mine. I don't know if he wants me to or not. You get an effect part, which looks okay, and you'll get to see it again later. One of the other ones has a blue one, so you'll see that a little more clearly, no pun intended. It's well sculpted, and it does have the little magnet thing in there to activate it, to turn it on. But it does turn on, but it just barely lights up. I don't know if I'm going to even be able to do it right here. But I already tested it through the bag. And turn on you. Where does it turn on? Well, anyway, it barely lights up, so maybe the battery's no good, or maybe it's just a crappy LED, I don't know, but you get the effect part regardless of if it works. And so this is the only thing I don't know about. This is a display stand. It's basically a knockoff Tamashi stand. I don't know if it comes with this guy because he's the premium custom edition, or what, because the other ones don't have this branding, and they all come with faces and hands and stuff, so I don't know what exactly is going on. What makes it a premium custom edition, but you do get this stand, or maybe my brother bought it separate, I don't know, you'll have to figure that out for yourself. I just don't know. But lots of accessories. The faces, hairs, and hands, that's enough for me, so I'll go, if you get the stand, 10 out of 10. If you don't get the stand, 9.5 out of 10. Alright, okay, let's talk about the articulation, because this is different. Like I said, it's a third-party figure, not a knockoff or a bootleg. So let's see. Ball pegs all the way around. That's the way to do it. That's the freaking way to do it. Now, his face does pop off as you do it, so be careful. But it does work. And I've been saying that for years and years and years, and it is just exactly provable firsthand. The little ball hinge is freaking annoying, and this just gives you no limitations other than your own creativity. The neck, I assume... Let me pop this off. The neck, I assume, is meant to actually move. It does... Does it rotate? Yeah, it feels like the neck is supposed to move. It's not really moving too much, so I don't know what's going on there. Like I said before, you don't have as much of a fit and finish sort of situation on a third-party figure like this. That's not super high-end like some third-party things are, I know, but this one is only 65 bucks. You're getting a steal of a deal, I would say, so you can expect some things to not have quite the right tolerances. Butterfly joint on this guy, not a ton of range, but it's in there, and it doesn't look bad. It doesn't hurt the figure at all, so a little bit helps for adjustment posing. Goes up and down as well, but then you just get your ball peg. Shoulder goes up to a little bit better than horizontal, and you're going to get your full rotation, of course. I have to say the joints feel good, other than the neck itself not moving. Everything else, it's not like the best feeling set of joints, but there's nothing that's overly loose or overly tight other than that neck so far. So that's pretty good. A little bit better than 90 right there for the elbow, and then the wrists are on hinges. Those feel nice. Now the torso here, there's at least a ball going on. I know because it rocks side to side, and it can go forward and back, but it doesn't want to go any farther forward. So if there is a hinge or something in there, it's just not allowing it. It feels like maybe they designed it like the Bandai ones that have the hinge and the ball peg, and we're only getting the ball here. I don't know for sure, but I can't get them to go any farther forward than that, so I don't know. And then you don't get the ball peg down here like you normally do with the Bandai ones. You just get a rotation, which I don't know that that really takes away a whole lot. It doesn't look as good, but it's also not super noticeable thanks to the armor, so you lose a little bit of range there, but it still looks fine and is generally pretty functional. I will say his hips do, the way they do his legs, they kind of make him look like he's a little hippie. Once you pose him, that'll go away. And he does pose pretty well in the hips. It's not too bad. It works like at least as well as most of the Bandai figures, so that's pretty good. Some of them are like really good, but some of them are crap too, so this is perfectly fair. About horizontal going forward, going back, almost nothing because they did put the butt on there like the modern Dragon Ball figures, which is not my favorite thing. You do get your thigh rotation. You do see an issue with the paint. It didn't go under the hip flap there, but you know, that's not the worst thing in the world. So you get that. Double jointed knees. Now they can be ugly and a problem if you do that, or you could do it the other way, but that's even a thing with Bandai too. You just want to find that middle ground where when you bend it, it covers up both of the gaps as much as possible. And so you get better than 90, and it's not the ugliest thing in the world, so that is okay. Now the ankles, unfortunately, they didn't really put much effort into making these better than the Bandai ones. They still suck like the Bandai ones do. You get decent enough range out of them, but the ball hinge is just not big enough to give you any real, like, serious range. It's functional, and it's not like it's floppy or anything, although the rotation is a little bit loose. So it's fine. The toe hinge is better than a lot of Bandai ones, that's for sure. It's not the perfect thing, because you can't, it's not going to be perfect as long as you have a gap down there, but it's still a pretty good toe hinge. So this articulation is at least as good as the average solid Bandai build. Like there are some crap ones, of course, and then there are some that are super duper. This one, it's a basic set of articulation. The only thing that's a real standout would be the neck, I would say, or the head. But the rest is solid, especially for a third-party figure. It's definitely well put together. This guy has pretty good fit and finish, I would say. Yeah, if you are into this sort of thing and don't mind third party, that you could do a whole lot worse. I'm gonna give his articulation a I'll say 8 out of 10. It's definitely solid. There are some issues, of course, but generally it works. Okay, so I'm gonna give you guys a final verdict on this, and then before we go, I'll show you those other ones, and then we'll call it a day. For 65 bucks, if you're okay with third-party figures, this thing easily gets a 9.5 out of 10. It's really, really, really good. If you were to get this same thing from Bandai, it would cost over 100 bucks, for sure. And I'm not justifying that, I'm saying that's what they would charge. But I think people would buy it and would be okay with it. So if you're okay with third-party stuff, then you win if you want to track one of these down, for sure. And they do have unpainted options if you happen to not like those. In fact, I think one of those is unpainted. I'll be showing you those. But yeah, I'll go 9.5 on this guy. It's a really good release. Easily the best looking Vegeta of this variety that's on the market. Although it's not Vegeta, it's Space Bunny. Okay, let me show you number 13. Alright, number 13. Oh, he didn't even open up the tape? Okay, well, I'm doing it. I hope he doesn't care. So 13, you can see he comes with a blue bunny head. Alright, but that guy comes with, this one comes with the darker outfit. I'll pop this off, I guess, if it's not taped. There you go. So yeah, he comes with the much darker outfit. There's no shading anywhere. The gray paint on here, it's not as clean as I would like, but it's acceptable. It's fine. The bunny head looks so goofy. And then he comes with a gray energy effect, so you can see what the effect looks like a little bit more. So there's that. And then hands, of course, but I want to show you the hairs and the faces because obviously they're not on there. But yeah, the 13 is the dark blue. All right, so we'll put that in there. We'll set that aside. All right, so his faces, love these. You get both versions of the pink and the blue. That's a nice figure right there because you get the two options. I imagine a lot of people would just buy two of that. So you get that option. And then for the hair, you might have guessed, same sort of situation. Now the hair, I will say though, the red's a questionable color. I don't know about that. I'm guessing most people could live with it, but it seems a little bit too much yellowy, too much orangish. The blue is decent though, I like the blue. Slightly metallic for all of them. Not as nice looking as the platinum blonde for me personally, just in terms of the finish. This looks more like plastic with a metallic dusting, but still, they look really nice. So that's the 13. That's the blue bunny. And then here we have the, well, they're all the Jade Rabbit, but that's the bluer one. This is the one with the gold bunny head. And, oh, this one has not even been a little bit tampered with. Okay, well, all right. So this one has the gold bunny, and it has the blue effect, which actually looks really nice. Which is the one probably most people would want, I'm thinking. Nice transparent blue, that's good. And then as far as this suit, it's basically the same as this one. The blue's a touch different. And then of course the whites are about the same, and the tan too. It's basically the same thing without shading. The blue might even be technically the same thing, just with like production variants. And the shading might be overspray a little bit on this one, whatever. It's basically the exact same body without the shading. So let's set that down. And then I want to show you what he comes with, because this is the one that I find to be most interesting. Even though I like the platinum, this is pretty cool looking. Just because you don't see this that much. It's semi-transparent, which I don't love. But I like the very metallic nature of it. You almost actually, I guess you do, not almost. You see the metal flake in there, and that's pretty cool. I don't know. I think if I had to pick, let me grab one that's this way. It's not the swooshy one. I guess if I had to pick, I'd probably still go with the platinum, but I could see why people would want this one. It looks really cool, and if you're going to hit him with some lights for a photo or something, I'll bet this looks really nice. So that's a cool feature there, and I'll show you his face plates too. I think I just cut myself. Okay, where is it? 14 or 13? Which one are we doing? We're doing 14. Okay. So he just has a bunch of regular Vegeta yellow face plates. So more along the lines of the 15. But yeah, as far as third-party Dragon Ball figures go, this is a good one for sure. I definitely am way less of a fan, like I said, of the actual bootlegs. This is a third-party thing, which is different. If you don't know the difference, we'll talk in the comment section below. I'm way more okay with this, ethically speaking, and it's a damn good figure, so that helps a whole lot. If you're going to make a third-party figure, it better be good. And this is. So it gets my seal of approval. Ethics notwithstanding, you guys decide for that on your own. But that's it for me. So thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. And if you haven't subscribed, you should. I have new videos just about every single day, and thousands already on the channel. So make sure you come back for all of that. And in the meantime, keep collecting.